Good morning, Lulz time. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Lullies. We are getting started, or not getting started, rather continuing our previous writing workshop, where we are trying to write some lore for Kriztian VT. As some of you may know, I attempted to do this last weekend, but I was hit by a bot raid, and I was already kind of feeling half asleep, half awake, half asleep to begin with, so it was not a very good morning. And at the suggestion of some of my newer followers, they suggested that I do something else to take my mind off things, so that's why we played Microworks last weekend, instead of getting some work done. Test, 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 test. I am actually not doing so well this morning either. I'm a little bit annoyed, as you may or may not tell through my voice over the course of today's session, but we will attempt to actually get some work done. Kriztian's been waiting very, very patiently. for this lore for a few months now. I feel bad that I've not been able to get this done sooner. Writing is a very slow process for me these days, especially being as busy as I am, so when I do get down to writing, it tends to be in huge bursts, as opposed to over the course of many sessions like it should be. Also, I didn't know that writing was as popular on my channel up until a few weeks ago when people actually requested I have these streams again. Why I'm making an effort. Um, Unfortunately, that means I had to axe having Guilty Gear Strive regularly on Saturdays. I think what I'll do is I'll intersperse some writing with some Guilty Gear Strive from time to time, keep things fresh. I do need to keep playing Guilty Gear from time to time or I'm going to lose my skills. I'm already starting to feel kind of old as far as last time I played. I already feel like I'm out of practice and it's only been a couple weeks. So hopefully we'll get to do some of that later on. Sooner rather than later. And meanwhile, let's dive right into continuing uh Kriztian VT, a jungle elf chef, a jungle shelf elf, jungle shelf, uh, VTuber who is on a journey to acquire money to join a competition. Give me a second here, chat. It's responding to a question really quick. All right. My mood gets any more sour, let's go ahead and get started. I'll start by reading off what we have so far to try and jog my memory, start getting the imagination juices flowing. It's Jungle Elf, the dark-skinned humanoid said firmly in front of me as I filled out his application. The words Wood Elf had already soaked into the parchment as the young man's, or old, who knew these knife ears, eyes bored into my skull. I sighed and snapped my hands. Wood Elf vanished from the page and was quickly replaced by the words Jungle Elf. Jungle Elf, I said as I readjusted my eyeglasses and looked up at him. The young man wore a homemade jacket of elegantly designed boiled leather, underneath which was what I could only assume to be a straw-spun tunic. The jacket was notched in places and covered in claw marks. Were it not for his outfit, the smell of death would have given away his preferred profession immediately. Actually, I kind of wonder if I should have a comma there or not. Is it supposed to be read, the smell of death would have given away his preferred profession immediately? So depending on who's reading this, it could be a line, it could be a pause there, or it could not be a pause there. It probably works either way. And then there was... There shouldn't be a comma there. Fuck that. Keep current format. And then there was the enormous chef's hat on his head, red banded with a black crown. It was damn near immaculate compared to the rest of his outfit. And this is typically implied to be a thought process when you have an italicized sentence or word. Whom did he loot it from, I wondered. Hell, did he even realize what that was? To be what it was. That was, instead of it was. Makes more sense. On any other contender, such a sigh would have not been quite as queer. This was a cooking competition, after all. But in all my years serving as a judge for... And then I'm going to work with Kriztian to develop pronouns and proper names for all these things. Never before had I met someone quite so unfit to compete, much less to cook. Also, if it's not obvious already, the narrator, the one speaking right now, is very much against our protagonist. The person speaking right now is not the main character. The person they're speaking about is supposed to be the main character. Anyway. And your entrance fee, I asked. There was an uncomfortable pause. The jungle elf blinked and pulled a small coin bag from his jacket's pocket and handed it to me. I poured the contents of the bag onto my desk and was greeted by not currency native to blank, but several elegant pearls, and not just any pearls. These were, and I just made this name up, the jewels of Thalaski and Piscarian. Is basically I just merged together the Greek words for sea and fish, I think. The jewels of a rare river serpent that lived in, and some say infested. Let's just change this to... Hey Venom. Welcome back to the stream. I'm doing great, thank you for asking. I'm just rereading through what I got right now. Try and jog the creative process so that I can continue from here. How are you this morning? Mm-hmm. Had lived in, and some say infested, streams and rivers. They can grow up to 600 kilos in weight. They are extremely vicious and spawn dozens of young a year, and are incredibly delicious. Both egg and flesh fetch high prices on the open market, which helps to keep their numbers in control. But these pearls, I said, ludicrously, can only be found in the belly of river dragons that have consumed man flesh. I don't know why, but ever since I first wrote this, it sounded really corny to me. Can only be found in the belly of river dragons. The kind... Uh, uh, the kind typically considered man-eaters. Ooh, spooky. The term man-eaters. You would have to dig out the innards of... You would have to dig out the innards of fully grown adults to acquire them. He nodded eagerly. Not fully grown adults. Of ancient specimens to acquire them. He nodded eagerly. Did he steal these too? I thought to myself. Bloody fool, who are you trying to impress me? I reverently replaced the pearls into the bag and pushed them back toward him. He frowned. Impressive, I said, but tournament regulations state that the fee must be paid not in ingredients and not in treasures, but in such and such. The jungle love scratched his head sheepishly. I do not have the currency of this land. I rolled my eyes. Then you'll just have to come back when you do. I folded his incomplete application and filed it away. The competition is at such and such time. Come to me when you're ready to take this seriously. Let's get to writing them. Thanks for the hydrate redeem, Vimboy. How are you doing this morning? Good to hear. I wish I could say the same. But we'll see how the session progresses. After today's, thanks for the hugs. After today's session, I'm gonna go ahead and get some dressed up in some period gear. Or I should say, my host is gonna dress up in period gear. I am going to reside in his phone, and he's gonna take plenty of photos so I can actually see what all the commotion's about. Right? But my host is gonna go to a Renaissance fair. Apparently, they have one every year in this location in this part of the United States, and he has some medievalish looking clothing to match. So I would be very interested to see what residents of the early 16, 14, 1500s looked like. You never been to a Renaissance fair? Well, neither have I. The host apparently has gone to several over the years. So I'm very excited to see what kind of libations he lambasts, what kind of wenches he wantonly wenches we wantonly woo, and what vast array of I can't think of a word that starts with C that would refer to items, purchasables, consumables. We just had our first Crunchyroll convention in Australia today. It was a disaster. I wanted to go. I heard about some people going to a Crunchyroll convention. I had no idea that a Crunchyroll convention was even a thing, but apparently it's your first one in Australia. Why was it a disaster? Yeah, period gear. A Renaissance fair is basically a convention where people dress up in clothing that would have been appropriate to the medieval ages, quote unquote, European medieval ages, and act in character and sell things from that era, or create food, or have events and panels and all kinds of stuff that would have been relevant to that area. You also get a lot of people reenacting stuff. So like every time my host goes to this Renaissance fair, there's always night jousting. There's always people with replica and realistic swords and armor fighting and all kinds of cool stuff. Back from ads. That sounds nice. Master was in a brotherhood as an archer when they were young. Oh, that's really cool. Very interesting. My host says that they tried to do archery at one point in their lives, but they were too weak to draw back a compound bow. He also says that he was yelled at by this kind of cranky old guy, so it was not a very enjoyable experience. You never been to anything? Oh, that's unfortunate. Perhaps one day we can both change that. Kriztian waited until he had cleared the oaken door frame the mud hut locals call an office to swear in his native language. As he passed, Master was young, so used a woman's short bow with a draw weight of only 56 kilograms. Which is a lot for a young guy, but Master was strong. That's so cute. The host does not know what the draw strength was of the compound bow they were trying to use, only that it was both too heavy and too strong for him. But he was also kind of pussy as a child. So Oh, so you used like a actual bow, not a like bow, not a compound bow. Oh, it was a medieval brotherhood. We had a local master stringers and blacksmiths, armor crafters, all traditional proper handmade tools and weapons. If you wanted a leather tunic, you would have to go hunt a boar, deer, foxes, and skin them yourself. This is a thing in Australia? Hmm. That's actually kind of cool. We have individual like blacksmitheries and the like over here in the States, but I don't know if and I also heard, and there's also a lot of LARPing communities here, and there's also a lot of hunting communities here, but I don't think any of them are like all together or to the point where they do period reenactment to that extent. Oh, this was in Poland. Huh, very interesting. Hmm. Did you ever participate? Did your master ever participate in what's the name of that event, that competition? Um, Battle of Nations, the big competition where all the different nations like get together in plate armor and blunted weapons and like actually fight each other one on one. 86 straw, 106 kilogram, 68 kilogram power. Cool, cool. I bet. Anything's a weapon if you're brave enough, if you are murderous enough, honestly. Anyway. Sadly, no, never participated in a large battle. We also didn't have blunted weapons. I did sadly see a finger go flying once during a sword fight. Oh, oof. Oh, that sounds terrible. Oh, that sounds painful. Chat, I'm just trying to think of how to continue the story. I'm running into writer's block big time right now. This is the second week in advance and second week in a row now where I came to the stream really distracted, and I really apologize for that. No one really goes to a stream to like stare at someone, just stare at a screen for like 4 hours. Look, in an art stream, something is happening on stream. It's harder with writing. Much harder. I mean, if I'm doing... My host is doing National Novel Writing Month this year, and that's going to be literally nothing but forced writing. This is more difficult because this is not forced writing. Kriztian is not particularly like anxious for this to get done in any immediate time frame, although it would be nice if it was. And also, it's difficult because I'm trying to write stuff for a character that is not my own, that I'm trying to do justice to. And there's not too much to say, because from here, I've already pretty much set in stone the driving force behind why he's become a VTuber. And I also pretty much gave like an outline of kind of like introduced his skill set, what he does, and the challenges he's facing. He needs to get into this tournament for reasons, and this would be a time where I explain the reasons why he's trying to get into the tournament. Now, there are many wrong ways to do something like this, and only a few right ways. A very common wrong way to go about this is to exposition dump. At the same time, I told him, you know, it's very unlikely that we're going to reach 5,000 words in this. There's not much to say. And I would much prefer stories being more tight and closer to a more, you know, more like, instead of just sort of wandering about, more like to the point than just meandering. But at the same time, if I was just gonna write a fucking summary of this, I could have done that months ago and just turned it in. It would probably have been like 1,000 words. I want to do better than that. I know I can do better than that. This is also a very high distraction environment, so like, unless I pull along a forcing river with all the force of a something typhoon, something bright side of the moon. Someone once said amateurs rely on inspiration to write fiction. Professionals force themselves to become inspired. And on top of that, the hardest part of writing is getting started. I've known people that they would stare at a page for hours and days and weeks, not write a single thing. You ask them about what is it that they want to tell a story about, and they will gush and they will tell you all the things that they want to write about. But then you ask them, okay, so what? How much have you actually written? And they'll say, um, nothing. So it's like, where am I gonna go with this? I'm already hating this paragraph so much, like y'all don't even realize. But it's better to force yourself, sometimes it's better to force yourself to write things, cringe at it later, change it up, and write it better next time, than to just stare at a blank page, getting nothing done. Need to check really quick to see if this is in fact, if not to lie, are in fact a cephalopod. I don't think that's how you spell that either. Cephalopod. Okay. I wonder why OpenOffice considers that a misspelling. It's spelled correctly. There we go. Turns out Nautili are in fact part of the species cephalopod. Not species, the class of cephalopod, which is squid, octopus, cuttlefish, and nautilus. No way. This website tried to hijack me? That's fucking dumb. Thanks, Malwarebytes. That's fucking stupid, though. People say you don't need antiviruses. Forward their home. To emphasize that the Nautilus was a threat to them. Chat, I'm sorry. I'm going to end today's stream early. I can't work like this. I'm just not in the correct headspace. I'm not gonna bother rating anyone today either. It's not really a point. We barely. I mean, man, I'm not gonna. Actually, you know what? No, I'm just being a pussy. We'll raid someone. Just because I'm in a shitty mood doesn't mean I should bring a shitty mood onto chat. I'm gonna give you all to someone that can entertain you a lot better than I can right now. Someone that doesn't annoy the shit out of me right now. Yuki's pretty fun. Let's send y'all to them. Maybe next week I'll be in a better headspace and have a better attitude with which to properly teach a writing course. Otherwise, we'll find something else to do. Something I learned from other VTubers is you really shouldn't force yourself to stream if you're not feeling it. See y'all.